Just when America has reached a breaking point with division, visionary influencer Danni Benson's I'm Proud of You Sis bro movement taps into the pulse and heartbeat of a culture radically torn. But this loving mom's voice of reason and calm has received national recognition.
How do you balance having your children and always traveling with the Yankee organization?
When I became a dad, I said that I would always love like a mother.
I feel like I have to try certain things or act a different way because I know some people or some kids.
So join Danni Benson as she celebrates her special guests on her show and highlights their gifts and contributions to our world.
Hi, everyone. My name is Danni Benson, and you're watching my show, I'm Proud of You Sis. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Please like, share, and follow, and tell your friends about my show. I would love to get feedback, comments, just let me know what you like, you don't like, guests that you want to see on the show, or anyone that you are proud of that you want me to interview and have them on my show. I would so appreciate it. Just DM me. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Danni_Benson, or I'm Proud of You Sis. You can find me. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everyone's having the best day ever, the best week ever, the best year ever. I mean, we're still here. So however bad you feel, just think about you're still here, and everything else I pray will work out. But thank you for joining. I have this amazing author on my show. Her name is Tracé Wilkins Francis. And let me just tell you a little bit about her. While she was searching for books for her son, Tracé Wilkins Francis noticed something puzzling. She was able to find a plethora of books with animals as main characters, but few books with main characters who looked like her son and his friends. Instead of complaining about it, she did something about it. In 2014, she published her first book under Annie Jean Publishing Company, a company she created in memory of her grandmothers. Since then, Tracé has written and published 9 more books, including her son's book, The Adventures of Rock, that he wrote and illustrated at only 8 years old. Her diverse books and colorful illustrations appeal to children of all backgrounds. Her books teach children valuable social and emotional lessons using humor and engaging stories. Using her God-given gift in writing and performing, Tracé provides interactive author visits for her children between 3 and 9 years old. Most recently, one of Tracé's book and a fan favorite, Delectable Vegetables, was selected as one of the best picture books that positively affirm African American boys' daily experiences. Tracé also has a book series called The Real Life Adventure of Jojo Bean. So please, you can go to Amazon and find it, or where you can find books anywhere, Barnes and Nobles, you know the drill. But I'm so proud of her, sis, because instead of complaining about the construct of not finding a book where her son can relate to, she decided to make the decision on her own and create her own book. So that is empowering enough, and that's why I'm so proud of her, sis. So I just want to introduce Miss Francis on the show. Hi, Miss Francis. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for coming on. I'm proud of you, sis.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited for you to be here too, and I'm so proud of you because my mom always told me, instead of complaining about things, do something about it.
That's
right? It's
right.
in your power. And just like if there's a need, if you feel like there's a need, that means there's other people that feels like there's a need too.
Absolutely.
So my parents used to always tell me, you be the first one to create, to basically get the need fulfilled before someone else does.
Yes, you be the change that you want to see.
Yes, and it always starts with you. And I always tell people that instead of you wanting to change other people, which is difficult because humans are who they are,
Yes,
it's always good to change who you are because
absolutely.
we're not perfect. And once you change who you are, and then the domino effect will happen towards other people.
Definitely. Definitely.
So I read your book, so please tell me more about. Okay, you've written so many books, so I don't know which one you want to start with first.
Oh my goodness. So I'll start, and I have them here too. So I'll
Yes, and
start.
show the audience each book too.
I'll start with there's two fan favorites, but well, three. This one, Delectable Vegetables. This is a fan favorite and adult favorite too. So this book I wrote because I try to make the stories relatable, something that children can relate to and they can learn lessons. So this one, right? We've all been there before. If you're whether you're a parent, whether you're a child care provider, or you have a special child in that in your life, excuse me. We've all been at that place where your child does not want to eat something on his or her plate,
Yes.
particularly vegetables.
I know.
So in this book right here, Delectable
Put it up so the
Vegetables.
audience can see
Can
it.
you
Put it
see
up so
it?
the audience can see it. Yes, I see it.
So
Okay.
in this book,
Great book.
Delectable Vegetables, Jojo Bean's mom, fixes him a plate of the scrumptious vegetables for lunch, and he refuses to eat it. So he comes up with this funny, very creative plan to avoid eating vegetables ever. And I don't want to spoil it, but do you think it'll work? Or will he give vegetables a try? And at the end of the book, there is a QR code that you could scan that will take you to the wonderful, delectable vegetable song, which was written by my wonderful husband, Mr. Michael D. Francis.
Oh, wow. That's
And this
amazing.
book is very popular with author visits. I do a lot of author visits based on this book, and the kids love it, and the adults equally love it as well.
And you know what? I didn't read it, but let other people know where have you done these visits because you've been like basically all
Oh
over the
yeah,
country.
everywhere. I've been I'm gonna recently I went to Roosevelt, Wyandanch, Baldwin, Brooklyn, New York. Virtually, I've been to Florida, Baltimore, both virtually and in person. And I've had organizations to purchase these books as well. So
And you also been to Michigan, Oklahoma City.
yes, I forgot. Yes,
Yay!
definitely. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. Oklahoma City, just a couple of months ago in Michigan. Yes, yes, yes. Big, big, big events, big school districts. Yes.
Well, I am so proud of you, sis, because I know
Me
it's
too.
very important for our children to learn how to read as early as possible. So
Mhm.
I know you and your husband also, we're gonna go through all the books, but
Okay.
I, when I met you, you and your husband actually do interactive reading. You actually
Yes.
bring puppets with you. So explain that to the
Yes.
audience, how to get the kids engaged to love how to read.
So, yeah, so one of the things that we do, because we want this to be a great experience for the children. We want the kids to go home and to get excited, like, Mommy, Daddy, guess who came to my school? To get them excited about reading, to ignite that spark. So what we do is we have a couple of things. We have mascots. So we have live mascots that we used to travel with us. But recently we've been using a puppet. So we have the puppet, and the puppet engages with the children, sings songs with the children, same thing with the mascots. And so that is always a big, big hit, because just like Jojo Bean in the book, because it's the Jojo Bean puppet, he's silly, he's funny, he's sweet and kind. It's just like the character in the book, and children could relate to Jojo Bean because Jojo Bean is just like them.
So tell me the series that Jojo Bean has because it's
Okay.
his adventure,
It's his
but there's different
adventures.
series to the books. There's different series to the
Yes.
books.
So there's 5 books in the series. This is the very first book that I wrote, called Birthday
Let me
Bubbles.
see. Let me see a little closer. Oh my God! So this was your first inspiration ever?
This was the first book. Yes, yes, yes.
Yay!
So
So
that's the
this is
first.
the book. So this is the book that you felt like you wasn't seeing anything that represents your son and
Yes,
his
and
friends.
the friends. Yes, and as you can see, the friends are very diverse. A couple, they're actually like multi, biracial.
Yeah,
So yeah, they're
diversity.
very diverse. Yes, they're very diverse.
Because diversity matters. Because
It matters.
America is a melting pot.
That's right.
America's the only is a melting pot. But America's the only country, I think, all over the world that everyone comes from different places.
Right, right. Exactly, exactly. And just to piggyback off of that, Dr. Bishop, who is an educator, she's a African American woman. She's a professor emerita at Ohio State University. She has written so much about this exact topic. She is known as the mother of multicultural literacy, and she talks about books as mirrors and windows. The mirrors being I should, be able to read a book or read a book and see a part of myself in that book. And the windows being other people from different backgrounds looking into this window and learning and seeing other cultures and races and backgrounds and how they deal with things or just how they live their daily lives. So
I mean
that's key. That is so important in literature.
and I think it's especially important in our country is because I think at the end of the day we are all Americans.
Yes.
It's sometimes it's weird how they put like the white American, black American, and
Mhm.
I'm like, aren't we just Americans?
Right,
So
right. America with different, just we just look differently, but we're all right.
American. So I hope one day, I know I sound Pollyannish, maybe when our kids get to be older, that we will all just be known as Americans. Because when I go to UK, it's not like white UK, black
Mhm.
UK. Like any place I've been all over the world, they never put like a color in front of
Right, right.
the country.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
only here. So
Mhm.
I am praying that one day, for our children's sake, that we will all be seen as Americans, but
Yes.
as diverse Americans, meaning that we all come from
Right.
different
I was
backgrounds,
gonna say that. That's key.
religions,
Yes. Yes.
disciplines, and
Mhm.
that's what makes America great because
Right.
we're all diverse. So we all have different ideas, and when you have different ideas,
Mhm.
I feel that it makes a country stronger instead of just thinking
Yeah.
like having a one-way
Right.
thinking.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
just like the vegetables are all different types of
Mhm.
colors,
Mhm.
they're all good for us. Aren't they all good for us?
Exactly. And that's the other part of having diverse literature, of having a diverse curriculum. It's more than just okay because we want representation. It's learning from each other. How we think, how we feel, how we act, having empathy for one another, being able to relate to one another. Because how can I relate to you or have empathy for you if I don't know anything about you?
And sometimes that's why people are scared because
Yes.
I feel like most people live in a bubble
Mhm.
and maybe they see each other or different diversities, maybe when they're at work or in
Mhm.
the supermarket, but
Mhm.
actually where they live, it might just be like one segment of the pie of America.
Right.
So I feel that as us as Americans should learn different cultures, read different books,
Definitely.
so it can make it easier because none of us is scary as we
Mhm.
put it in our minds, right?
Right.
Because sometimes when you don't know something, it's scary.
Mhm.
But once you know it, you're like, wow, it's not that bad.
Right,
Or
exactly.
you don't lump everyone in just one group because everyone is an individual,
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely.
right? So
Yes.
that's why I like the delectable vegetables
Mhm.
because in the way I'm thinking, there's
Mhm.
carrots, spinach, like every
All
vegetable is different. There's a different thing, especially in our bodies, but they're all good for us.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
all good for us. So tell me
Definitely.
the next book that you wrote.
So that was birthday bubbles, and just to yeah, that was birthday bubbles. And it's just basically JoJo Bean is celebrating his birthday. And in this book, he learns about sharing. He learns about empathy as well too, because he has his birthday party at school, and he wishes upon a magical bubble that he could have his birthday every day. And
Wow.
it comes true. So I'm just gonna leave.
Yes, because we want you to go by the book. Yeah, we want you to go by the book. So it's like watching a movie. You know, you see the trailer, but you don't actually see like the main parts, because then you're not gonna go see the movie. So she's just giving you she's giving you reasons why you should go and grab all these books.
Yeah, and then isn't it just like children? In fact, I heard from in the spring I was involved with the after school program. I was the literacy specialist. And it was funny. It was one of my students. I had first and second grade. It's mostly second. One of my students said, "Oh, I wish I could celebrate my birthday every day."
Ah,
Give me a book so you can see why that's not a good idea.
I know. You know what? I need to read the book too, because I was thinking, why not? Why can't I celebrate? You know, because every day that you're alive is actually a celebration.
Right.
You know, because kids don't understand it now, but as adults, it's like when I wake up sometimes, I'm so grateful and so thankful that I'm here, because I know at any given moment I might not be here anymore. So I can see why kids would want to celebrate their birthday every day, but it'll be impossible.
Right. Yes,
but do that
if your birthday was every day, just your birthday and not everybody else's. So
well, you know what? I'm so silly, because if my birthday was every day, I'll probably be 100. Happy birthday one day, happy birthday the next day. It's like I don't know if I want to have dog years as my birthday, like fast forward maybe. I know I'm crazy. That's the way I would do it. But I understand the celebration of it, because kids like cake.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a fun time. Get to blow the candles, you get gifts, your friends up there, your family's there. So I mean, maybe one day, it'll be possible to do it. But for now, I'm excited to read that book. So what is the next book?
So the next one we talked about delectable vegetables.
Yay! Yes. Let me ask you a question. Does that book at the end help kids to like vegetables? Because I did it.
Okay, so some parents say yes, and some parents are like, they tell me, so and so loves the book, but I still can't.
I know.
But at least we always say when we go on when we do our author visits, we have this rule with our son, my husband, and I, and we have the kids to take a pledge. You need to try a new food, especially vegetables, at least 3 times before you say you don't like it. Because usually the more you like it, I mean, of course there are exceptions to that rule, but you need to try it a few times. So
what I do with my kids, I put seasoning on them to give it a little. I know probably it has a little bit of extra salt. I know that's all not good for you, but my kids don't like vegetables bland. It has to have a little pepper, a little salt, a little bit. Sometimes I saute it in a little butter. I don't know if I'm doing the opposite effect, but they're eating it. So they're like, "Mommy, this tastes too bland. This tastes so crunchy. Can you steam it or something like that?" So maybe that's what parents need to do sometimes. Maybe they need to.
And there's other ways
to it up.
Then you could put it in a smoothie.
Yeah, my kids love smoothies. Like you could hide it.
Make it in like bread or something. Yeah, there's ways. Muffins.
There's ways to sneak that vegetable in. I know sometimes with me, I need a lot of greens. So what I do is put like celery juice, like something to kind of like take out the bitter taste. Sometimes I put a little bit of pineapple juice in there. So I think the kids are liking the smoothies a little bit. I guess not knowing what's really in it. Yeah. So what is the next book? Because I read The Adventures of Rock.
That's my son's book. So yeah, that's
okay. That's not
the next.
That's not the next book. Okay. We'll get to your son a little later.
So the next book would be, and this is a seasonal favorite. This is a hot one.
What is it?
I know
Safety first.
and it's all about water safety. I wrote this book because before we got a pool, even though we still go to the pool, but I would take my son and my nephew, and then my second son, I call him from another mother and father, my son's best friend, to the pool, and I saw a lot of behavior. Like, oh my gosh, is somebody going to hurt themselves? Something's, this is not right. So I wrote that to bring more awareness to water safety in and around water. So this JoJo Bean's grandfather takes him to the opening of the new pool, and he has all these ideas of how to have fun with his friends. All of them are unsafe. So his thing is, how am I going to be able to have fun if I can't do these things and still obey the water safety rules? And what's great about this book is at the end, there's just some listing of safety tips for the pool and the beach. And this was very popular around this time.
Especially like in the summertime.
Yes.
Water is fun, but safety first.
Yes.
Because it's fun, but you have to have the proper attire on.
Yep.
Hopefully you know how to swim. If you don't know how to swim, have a parent there. Like there's so many. Sometimes I'm afraid of water and kids. Like I'm because one second you just turn around and it's like
right. And I'll tell you a story that kind of also inspired this. I took my son to one of the local town pools that had a slide. So he was about to slide down. The lifeguard told him to go. But what the lifeguard didn't see was this little girl holding on the dear life at the bottom. She did not exit because you're supposed to slide down and exit. There's a reason for that, right? So my son that comes down, and they both collide into each other, and then my son has this nosebleed.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? Those things do happen. So sometimes kids, it's good that this book is being written so kids can understand to be aware of their surroundings.
Right. Yes.
And even if someone is telling you to go, if you see somebody right at the edge, it's not safe because you're going to bump into them. And no, definitely, like, because kids just want to, sometimes they don't understand why you can't just jump in the pool.
Yes.
Because you might hurt yourself if you jump in the pool, because you don't know, it could be 2 feet.
Yeah.
And you jump in the pool and you hurt yourself.
Yeah, adults too. The other day, I took my son to the pool because he likes to, practice his diving and stuff because he's a competitive swimmer. And an adult got hurt on the diving board. Like, one didn't listen to the lifeguard. The lifeguard was like, be careful, slow down, don't run. He did the opposite and he slipped. And another person, I didn't see it, but my son said he went to jump off the diving board. I guess it was also slippery. And he landed the wrong way and banged his knee. And then, because I'm like, what is going on? Here comes the ambulance to take him out.
Wow.
So those two, and I saw some behavior at the pool this time from a lot of adults. Like, you need to set the example for the children. So
look, adults think they could swim. I mean, if you could swim, you could swim. But there's some adults that don't know how to swim. I'm like, you could drown too.
Yes, exactly.
Like, you can't take risks like that. Yeah, you know what I want for every parent to do, if it's affordable, because I know it's, especially what's going on right now. If you could teach your kids how to swim at an early age.
Yes.
Please do that. Please do that before they get into any water, because the number one thing that my daughters learned, which I would pay for swimming lessons again, is don't panic, just float.
Yeah.
Because a lot of drownings happen because once they feel like they lost a hold, like they're moving around, and if you just lightly just relax, because our body is lighter than water. Keep your head up like this, you will just float, and then your nose will be up in the air and you can breathe.
Yeah, even things like because I know this is one thing that my son did. Because we started swimming lessons when my son, he was very younger, like he was a baby. But even treading water, that's important to learn too.
Like going like this, like doggy paddle?
Yeah. Treading. Yeah.
Oh, it's called treading. I call it doggy paddle.
No, where you're actually like in one place and you're treading with your. Well, sometimes I know when he took lessons, they had him to put his hands up in the air and he was just treading with his legs. So
really, wow. Okay, well, hey parents, if there's one thing you guys can do before your kids go near water or have a pool in your backyard, I would say two things: is teach your child how to swim. You know what I've been finding out lately? I've been going to parties and people are hiring lifeguards.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Who thought about this?
Because there's a lot of drownings that happen in people's backyards. One of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't know if he was a wide receiver or what, but his daughter drowned in someone's backyard. And I think there was a party or something going on that happened a few months ago.
See, that's what happens, because when there's a party, there's drinking, you're talking, you'll tell the kid no.
Right.
And if for some reason kids like water, so they're drawn to it. And then that's why, like, when people come to each other's homes, I always ask the question, do they know how to swim? If they don't, you wearing a life vest. Like,
exactly.
I don't want to wear it. I don't want to wear it.
Yes.
I'm like, you're wearing a life vest because it's not going to be on my conscience. If anything happens in my home, you're wearing a life vest. And I don't know why parents don't think of that, because I even leave the life vest in my car. So anytime someone says, "Oh, you want us to come to the pool?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." My kids know how to swim, but for them to be comfortable in the water, they start off with their life vests.
Right.
Just for safety reasons, and I don't want to put the other person in a situation like, does your kid know how to swim? I'm like, they do. They just got to get used to the water, and then I can just take it off of them. Yeah. But what is the next book? What is the next book?
So the next book, moving along with the theme of safety, this is Park Blues.
Oh, I love the
name. This is, again, being aware of your surroundings, cooperation, coming together and helping each other. So Jojo Bean, he's excited to be in the park with his friends, but he's also very bored. So he takes off running and he's not aware that there's a danger that's lurking ahead, which is a hole in the ground. So he trips and he falls in, and now everyone is trying to figure out the best way to get him out of this hole.
Wow, my goodness. Okay, so I want you to show all your books, because we still have a live going on, but Optimum only allows us 30 minutes.
Okay.
So let's talk about all your books in the next, minute and a half, and then we'll go to break, and then we can elaborate more so everyone can see all the books you have.
Okay. And then this one is a seasonal favorite. It's a Christmas book called The Christmas Coat. And Jojo Bean goes shopping with his father, and like every child, instead of thinking about others, like, family and friends, he's picking out gifts for his family and friends that he would like. So his father's like, no, put it back. And he meets a special friend, a little homeless boy that's in the store. And through that homeless boy, he learns what it means, what the true meaning of Christmas is. So that's the Christmas book. So those are the 5 in this series, and then I have a chapter book too. I Am Not Ready for a Pet.
Oh my God! And what ages could read that? 3 to 9?
For this one, it's a chapter book, so this is more like 7 to 9, 6 to 9. These books here, like the picture books, are 3 to 8, ages 3 to 9. And then there's my son's book that he wrote and illustrated, The Adventures of Rock.
Okay, so real quickly, where can we find these books before we come right back?
So the books you can find at online at any major book retailer, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, online at Walmart. It's in a few specialty bookshops, like the Listening Tree in Atlanta, Georgia. Is on a few people's, they call it Bookshop. So if you just Google the titles, you'll be able to find it. And of course, my own website, which is TraceWilkinsFrancis.com.
Okay, Optimum viewers, thank you for joining. I'm Proud of You Sis, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Hi. We are right back. So we just have a few more minutes. So I wanted you to go through all the books. So our live viewers, you know, Christmas is coming. I know everyone's like Christmas, but I mean, it's Christmas in July, in July, you know? So, you know, it's great gifts. Kids are going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Great gifts to give kids. Great presents for birthdays. I mean, instead of giving kids toys and iPad, let's get them back to like reading, because reading makes you successful in life.
Yes, it does. You're talking about critical thinking. You're talking about developing empathy. You're talking about building vocabulary. It even to use it as a bonding moment between mother and son, or mother and daughter, or father and son, and father and daughter, or a grandmother, or what have you. So there's just so many different advantages of reading. And you know, studies have shown the earlier you read and the more you read to your child, with your child reads, the higher the vocabulary will be and the more successful they'll be.
And that's why in my school district, and I'm on these kids every single day, you have to read at least 30 minutes a day. And it's every day. It's to the point that every time I'm sitting, if they're watching TV, I'm like, did you read 30 minutes today? Did you read? Mm-hmm. Because the more you read, you're right. The smarter you'll be. I keep telling them that, because the smarter you'll be, the better your reading comprehension will be, because you're practicing reading. Right. The more you'll know definitions of words, because once you start looking at the word, because you got to look at the dictionary, you'll have better uses of word. The more your writing skills will be.
All that.
And the more your imagination will be, because sometimes we can't be all over the world. You know how they always say, write about something. You can write about something you read.
Right, exactly. Or maybe it'll help to get the creative juices flowing for you to write. So definitely.
Or give the kid examples of, you know, how to write a great story. You know, because sometimes kids are like, I don't know what to write. I'm like, you don't know what to write sometimes because you're not reading a lot of books. That's why I tell my kids, like, because I'm on them with this reading thing, because I don't know what it is. I have to be honest, just like vegetables, I didn't like to read either.
See, I was the opposite.
So you're the kid. You're the kid on the school bus when I do these parents trips. All the kids are having a good time, and there's 2 or 3 kids actually have a book and they're reading, and I'm looking at my kids like, why aren't you reading? Why aren't you reading? Why are you having fun with your friends?
That was me. I mean, I have fun with my friends, but I loved to read. I have a good friend of mine. She's a Christian author, and we were younger because we were been friends since 3rd grade. So when we were younger, we would, you know, go to each other's houses and we would write out books, and then we would make them in a book form, fold them over and all that stuff, and then we would tie red ribbon around them. That was our branding. So it's just funny, you know, years later that we're both.
You manifested it.
Authors. Yes, we manifested it. Absolutely.
You manifested it because it was already in you.
Yes.
And so when you had the opportunity in your hand to make it come alive, you guys both did.
You did it.
Oh my God, I'm so proud of you, sis. That's why I keep telling my kids, manifest. You want to be the best swimmer? You will be the best swimmer. You just got to practice. Like anything anything you want to do in life, I tell my kids, it can happen. You just got to put work behind it. Like a fairy godmother doesn't really exist. They're not coming to go ting ting, and then you know. That's why I like books like yours, because it's more realistic.
Yeah, I tried to make it as realistic as possible. And then, of course, you know, there are those instances where, okay, maybe my child doesn't like to read because there's a reading issue. But sometimes it's just as simple as the child doesn't like is not interested in what she or he is reading. So what parents can do is to find other ways. It doesn't have to be a physical book. There are magazines for children. There are magazines. There are graphic novels, comic books. Even when you take your child out in the car, I used to do this with my son when he was younger. We would read the stop signs and things like that. Or when we go to the grocery store, okay, can you get me the, I don't know, the cereal,
give me the spaghetti
corn
sauce.
flakes that are on the shelf. So
Yeah.
now they're looking at it because they know what it looks like, and now they're able to read it because they're that association that's involved with it. So I actually have a guide on my website. And it's
what is the name of your website so everybody knows?
Oh yes, it's www.tracewilkinsfrancis.com. That's that's my website. And when you go to the website, if it's your first time going there, you'll see a pop-up that says to download the free guide or get access to the free guide, how to change your reluctant reader to a bookworm. And there's a lot of helpful hints with links to different things about how to get your child to read more.
And can you give me like a few tips for the audience, like one or two?
Yeah, definitely the content is one. If your child likes dinosaurs, for example, find books on dinosaurs. So make sure that you're getting books that your child is interested in, and they would be more receptive to reading. I know my son was younger when he was about 9 or so. We have a lot of Minecraft books.
My kids like Minecraft. My kids are gamers.
Yes. We have a lot of Minecraft books, and we actually what was the other thing he was into? Captain Underpants. That's more like a graphic novel.
Yeah, my kids
combination of
and Dogman. It's a funny, yeah. My kids like to read those books too.
Mm-hmm. So those, they would be more open to reading probably those type of books because they're not feeling overwhelmed, because sometimes picking up a book is an overwhelming experience for a child. Like, oh my gosh, especially if they don't like it, or if it's just boring to them. So that's the one, that's one of the tips. The other tip, of course, is to take your child out to the library or the bookstore. Make a day out of it. Make it exciting. My son and I, we used to go to the bookstore and sometimes just hang out. Of course, they have toys and stuff there too, but they start getting exciting about that. So make that a special time for them.
Yeah, my kids like Target. Like when we go to Target, they run to the book aisle. You know what Target should do? Target should start having chairs for kids.
They should, in their little book section.
Their little book section. Hey, Target. Yeah. My kids, when they hear Target, they're like, yes, because while I'm getting groceries and whatever, they like to run. I know where to find them. They're in the book section.
Yeah. We just
they pick up the books, and I'm like, I don't know if they could read them or not, because I know people have to purchase them, but they actually will sit on the floor
and look,
and they'll like, because they say, Mommy, I don't want you to buy the book unless we know we're gonna like it, which is true.
That's true.
Smart. That's smart, but that's why I don't. How parents, when I go to places sometimes, don't buy anything. I'll be honest with you. The only thing that I will buy my kids is a book.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm like,
like
you. I don't care. My son is funny. Like, oh, you want the book? Yeah, sure.
You want the book? Yeah, because I want a positive reinforcement. I don't want to say no. You say no to everything else, but I want to say no because people say, why don't you just go to the library? I say because I think some kids want to have their own book.
Yes, they want to touch, they want to feel, if they want to keep rereading. And that's the other thing too. Don't get upset or alarmed or like, oh my gosh, why is my child reading that same book over and over and over again? That's actually really good, because that's building up that consistency. So now that child is becoming familiar with the books. They're able to tell you what the book is about. So that's building their vocabulary, that's building that reading comprehension. So if that child wants to read, for example, Delectable Vegetables every night,
let them read. Let them read until they get tired of it, because what's happening is they're practicing their reading, they're practicing their
Yes.
vowel sounds, and they're practicing word recognition, because that's what reading is about. Because as soon as you recognize a word, you just read right by it, because you've seen the word so many times. That's why reading books is so important for our children, because it's also about a memory. Like, instead of sounding the word out, you know the word. That's why I think it's changed now. We didn't grow up on sight words, but I think like the babies now are growing up on sight words, because I guess they're figuring if they can remember these words, then that means when they see it, they could just say it without trying to sound it out.
Without hesitating. Absolutely.
But I have my good things and the bad things about that, because I think kids still need to learn prophetically how the word is said. So sometimes I feel like sight words does a disservice, because it's like it's more memorization than actually just learning how to read the word. Because we didn't grow up like that. I don't, I guess this is a new phenomenon with sight words. We grew up on hooked on phonics, where they actually said the word. But I just want to say, I am so proud of you, sis.
Thank you.
You are, look, you know her handles. Are you on Instagram? Are you on Facebook also?
I am. I'm on Instagram. Oh, there it is. Instagram, Tracé Wilkins Francis. I am on Facebook. I have a Facebook page called Tracé Wilkins Francis, author. I also have a private group called JoJo Bean Reading Frenzy. So if you follow my page and or DM me, I can send you the link for it. And we share a lot in that group to help parents and educators and anyone, that has dealing with children, to support the children and engage them, because it takes a whole village to raise a child. So we've done a lot of, we've given a lot of great tips in there. I did a parent empowerment series from November through May. So each month it was a different topic. The first month we talked about, with my teacher friend from Florida, we talked about reading. We talked about how to find engaging books and how to engage your child in reading. In January, I did self-care with a great friend of mine who's also an educator, preschool. February, we did math, because reading, that's why reading comprehension is also so important, because it links to your math.
With the new math now, you're doing a lot of reading.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of reading. So we talked about math and debunking the math myth, because a lot of people, they hear math, and children too, they get anxious. So you are able to conquer math, just like swimming or just like playing the piano. It takes practice. It takes practice every day. So we talked about that. And
are these Zooms? Like, are these like we could see each other's faces, or it's audio?
No, I did it like here, so it was more like a podcast format. So
good.
Yeah, all these topics, and I talked to another author. Her name is Carrie Lee Carrington. She's a diverse children's advocate, and she's an author as well. So we talked about the importance of diversity in literature. And there was one more that I did. I can't remember. But if you join the Facebook group, you have access to that for life. Because I'll put it up, and then after a couple of weeks, I'll take it down. But if you join the group, you have access to that forever.
So you have access to all. Once you're in the group, you have access to all the videos. You can go all the way down and see. And because reading is fundamental. Reading is fundamental, parents. So if you can get your kids loving how to read, whatever topic they want to read, my goal is, like, I'm always trying to get my kids off the iPad, because because they were like, I'm bored. I'm like, go read a book. Like, stop. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to get the instant gratification.
Right. Yeah, that's the problem. Oh, the other one, that was a great one too. Alternatives to traditional education. So we talked about that.
So everyone, please, especially if you have young kids who are learning how to read, definitely get the books, The Adventures of JoJo Bean. Also the series within that adventure. Also your 8-year-old son who wrote his first book called
he's
The Adventures
13.
of Rock.
Yeah, he's 13
now. Is he going to 8th grade? No, or he's a freshman?
Yeah. He's going to 8th grade.
Oh, it's gonna be an exciting year for him.
Yeah.
He's graduating. Yeah. Yeah, he's graduating. Oh my God, it's gonna go so fast. Because it goes super fast. So congratulations to both of you guys for raising this amazing son of yours.
Thank you so much.
And thank you. So I'm so proud of you, sis. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
This is a great platform, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you. And audience, thank you for joining me. You can watch this show Optimum, Facebook, YouTube, and see you next week. Bye. Bye, everyone.